Right after our last episode aired, we had got the news we'd been waiting over a year to hear. Our son was finally coming home. At first, it felt like the finish line. Then the equipment started arriving, and that's when we realized we had 2 weeks to completely change our lives. A few days after our last episode aired, Danae came to me with some news. You know, the news that we had been waiting to hear. They had finally given us a discharge date. And honestly, I didn't know what to think. Part of me was excited, part of me relieved, shocked, and part of me didn't believe it. Because after everything we'd been through, every setback, every delay, every time we thought we were getting close, only to find out that we weren't. It's hard to believe this time was any different. Danae felt the same way. We were happy, but we were cautious. Because after a year of living this reality, you learn not to celebrate too early. We had spent so long wondering when this day would come that when it finally did, it didn't feel real. The truth is, both of us had the same thought. We'll believe it when he's actually home. A few days later, the medical supplies started arriving. At first, we didn't think much of it. We'd done this before with Ivan. Usually a delivery would show up, someone brings a few things inside, that would be it. This wasn't that. A van pulled up, and it wasn't just carrying a few boxes. It was full. Completely full. I remember looking at it, and then Danae asked the delivery driver, "Is all of that coming to our house?" Because there's no way, right? At least, that's what we thought. There was no way that was all for one kid. Then they started unloading it. Box after box, machine after machine, supply after supply. And suddenly, it got real. This wasn't a discharge date on a piece of paper anymore. This was actually happening. The amount of equipment he needs, the amount of oxygen he needs, the amount of supplies he needs, it was way more than we had imagined. Way more. And then came the next problem. Where are we supposed to put all of this? Honestly, we're still trying to figure that part out. The oxygen alone was eye-opening. Not just what he needs at home, but what we have to take with us when we leave the house. For the first time, we were seeing the whole picture. And that's when we realized our house wasn't ready. Once the equipment started arriving, we realized fast our house wasn't set up for this. Not even close. One of the biggest challenges was figuring out how were we gonna make the night nurses work. Because when he comes home, we're gonna have people in our house overnight. And that's not something that we had ever planned for. So we looked around the house, tried to figure out how we could make things work, how we could keep some level of privacy, how we could make it sustainable. And eventually, we came to a conclusion. We had to completely change the layout of our house. The back half of the house needed to become separate from the front half. And once that decision was made, everything started snowballing. One thing led to another. You move one thing, suddenly 3 things have to be moved. You solve one problem, discover 2 more. You realize you need something, and then you realize you don't have it. Then you have to figure out where you're gonna get it. The nursery moved, the living room moved, rooms started changing purposes, furniture started moving, and before long, our house barely looked like the same house. For the last 2-3 weeks, it's felt like we've been rebuilding everything. Not because we wanted to, because we had to. Because for the first time, bringing him home wasn't a future goal anymore. It was a deadline. While we've been spending the last 2 weeks trying to prepare for his brother to come home, Ivan has had plans of his own. And those plans mostly involve climbing things. At this point, containing him is almost impossible. If he can reach it, he's gonna try to climb it. The playpen? Climb it. The crib? Climb it. The furniture? That's right, climb it. Pretty much anything he can get his hands on. he's gonna try and get on top of it. He's also starting to stand on his own. Not for long yet, but long enough to let us know what's coming next. He's getting close to saying his first words. He's getting close to taking his first steps. And every day, it feels like he's learning something new. One of the biggest improvements we've seen recently is his oxygen. He's spending most of his days now without it, something that would have been hard to imagine not that long ago. The only place where he's still struggling a little bit is his weight. He's still sitting near the bottom of the growth chart for his age, which is kind of crazy when you think about it, because his brother is almost 10 pounds heavier than he is. But despite that, he keeps proving us wrong. Every time we think we figured out what he's capable of, he finds a new way to surprise us. Usually by climbing something he definitely shouldn't be climbing. One of the strangest parts of all of this is how different our boys' journeys have been. They were born on the same day, the same time, and yet their lives have looked completely different. Over the last year, we've watched Ivan learn and grow at home. We've watched him learn to crawl. We've watched him learn to stand. Now, he's getting ready to take his first steps. He's getting ready to say his first words. He's growing up right in front of us. And while all of that's been happening, his brother's been fighting a completely different battle. Learning how to breathe. Learning how to tolerate new equipment. Learning how to do all these things most people never even think about. Two boys, the same age, living two completely different lives. But for the first time since they were born, those two worlds are about to come together again for the first time. They'll wake up under the same roof for the first time. They'll get the chance to grow up together. And honestly, after everything we've been through, that's still hard to believe. Right now, we're about 2 days away from discharge date. At least, that's the plan. Because after everything we've been through, we know better than to celebrate too early. The house is almost ready. The equipment's ready. But there's still a few things standing in the way. One of the machines has been throwing alarms. The problem is, nothing's actually wrong. But if the machine isn't working correctly, they're not going to send him home with it. And then there's the car seat. We bought a really nice one for him. But they've been having problems with it at the hospital. So now they're trying to get a replacement sit out as fast as possible. And suddenly, with only a couple days left, we're right back to where we've been plenty of times before. Waiting, hoping, trying not to get ahead of ourselves. Because Monday could change everything. He could still come home on Tuesday, or something could happen, and we're right back to waiting. And after a year of setbacks, there's only one thing that we know for sure. We'll believe it when he's finally home.
Runner. What doing, monkey? Ooh, 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 you make a noise. You're making noise.